go home from Firestone Stadium as we welcome you to Game 3 of the MAC Softball Tournament from Firestone Stadium. It's the Central Michigan Chippewas and the Miami Redhawks as both clubs aim to keep their season alive here in 2026. Dane Richardson, happy to be with you, but first let's take a look at both these teams' earlier games this afternoon. First with the Central Michigan Chippewas. They started off against Ohio and they got off to a quick start. Grace Koenig with an RBI single. They ended up losing to Ohio 9-3. Alexa Carter also in the first inning showcasing some power against Ohio's ace Skip Miller, but it just wasn't enough. They couldn't close out the Bobcats. A big inning late gave Ohio the win, which resulted in the Chippewas being in the loser bracket. As for the Miami Redhawks, the four-time defending MAC tournament champions, they lost to the 16 Western Michigan 7-4. Mia Estrella, freshman of the year though, showing some power with a homer to left. A late rally was possible. Layla Mathis, the 9-hole hitter, hits a 2-run shot, but Western Michigan was able to close it out down the stretch. You'll see Leah Chevrier in the circle for Miami and Brooklyn Campo for Central Michigan. Win or go home from Firestone Stadium. The Chippewas trying to end the Redhawks' reign. We'll find out when we come back. First pitch is next from Firestone. Just moments away from first pitch here in this elimination game between Central Michigan and Miami. Let's first take a look at the Chippewas lineup. Leading off Angela Petrovic, she plays second. Kuzera hits second and left. Carter in a home run last game, she'll catch and hit third. Koenig cleans up at third. London Williams hits fifth. Emma Lotus, Rachel Cairo, Sierra Alaska, and Vila round out the starting lineup for Central Michigan. In the circle for Miami, it's the senior right-hander from Quebec, Leah Chevrier. Finished up last game against Western Michigan in that loss. First pitch to Petrovic in there for a strike. And we're underway here in Game 3 of the day from Firestone Stadium. Umpiring crew, Eric Mandley behind home plate. Gavin Ramsey at first, Bobby Johnson at second, and Jay Motter over at third. Petrovic shows bunt, takes outside. Chevrier finished up 2 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, none earned. 1 walk. 2 strikeouts in 34 pitches. Remember, she pitched her final 12 innings of the MAC Softball Tournament a year ago scoreless. Defense is the same as the game before for Miami. We'll get to that in a moment. 2-1 to Petrovic. On the ground to first, Carter. Can of corn, 1 down.
Jonathan Kuzera.
In steps Kuzera, lefty swinger. Did not have a hit in game one, which was surprising. Kuzera 368 this year. 8 homers, leads the team in RBIs with 41. Miami certainly didn't expect to be playing in an elimination game in game number 1. They have represented the Mid-American Conference and NCAA Regionals for the last 5 seasons. Kuzera swings and misses, ball and a strike. But it's amazing how things can turn rather quickly. Chevrier, out of their 3 pitchers that they have thrown, Riccardi, Chevrier, and Hosick, who's the MAC Pitcher of the Year named today. Chevrier has been the most efficient out of the 3. Kuzera fouls it back, count evens. Winners today so far, Ohio knocking off Central Michigan 9-3, and then Western Michigan with the surprise of the day. The second straight year that the 6 seed has beaten the 3 seed to open the MAC tournament in game number 2. NIU did it over Central last year. Kuzera towards short. Oh, what a backhand. Hernandez throw it up first. The stretch by Carter. That's pretty, 2 away.
Our next batter, number 21, the catcher.
The story in the previous game wasn't Miami's defense, it was Western Michigan's defense. A great job by Hernandez holding her ground. Nice little backhand with a red glove over there. 2 down for Alexa Carter. And her team leading 10th homer of the year back in the first off Skip Miller out to right center field. Started this tournament off with a bang. Outside corner misses, 1-0. Carter, the sophomore from Spring Lake, Michigan. Ground ball back up the middle. Hernandez across the diamond, and a 1-2-3 first for Leah Chevrier. We head to the bottom half. Red Hawks coming to the plate when we come back. Stay with us. It's the Red Hawks and the Chippewas from Firestone on E+. See how Miami lines up, leading off. It's Manos, followed by Estrella and Hernandez. Dodone moved up into the cleanup spot. Carter, Campbell, Mathis, Olive will round out the starting lineup for Miami, as we'll see Brooklyn Campo, right-hander for the first time in the MAC softball tournament. Junior from the state of Michigan. 4.87 ERA. She's pitched pretty well her last few appearances, but hasn't thrown more than 3 2/3 innings in her last 4 appearances. Manos leads it off, named MAC Player of the Year today, takes away. Manos 2 hits, also a line out in their first game. That one clips the outside corner for a strike. What's interesting is that Manos and Carter has a swing and a miss, 1-2. both played together last year at Purdue Fort Wayne and were pretty good hitters for the Mastodons. Now they're playing against each other with the season on the line. 1-2, up and away. Talking with McCall Salmon, saying that Campo is probably their heaviest thrower, meaning velocity-wise. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A little bit of a sword action there. Check swing, got her swinging. Nasty pitch from Campo for out number 1. You do not see Manos usually have those type of swings. And this had her completely fooled. Barely went around, just her 21st strikeout of the year. Here's Estrella. Not known as a power hitter, but connected on her 4th homer of the year. In Miami's 7-4 loss to Western Michigan just a few hours back, as that clips the inside corner for a strike. Hailing from Richwood, Texas. Central Michigan lines up relatively the same way. We'll get you their defense after this pitch. Swing and a miss. This ball blows it by her. In left, you got Kuzera. Center, Lotus, Bila in right. Canning at third. Cairo at short. Petrovic at second. Williams at first. Carter does the catching. And Campo in the circle for Central. 2-2 pitch. Just misses below the knees. Count runs full. Three-two pitch. Lofted out toward right field. Coming in and making the catch is Bila. 2 up, 2 down for Campo.
Come to the plate, the shortstop, number 88, Danitza Hernandez.
Here's Danitza Hernandez. Was retired as the final out, and it can become a little nerving, but also a little empowering for some of these seniors, such as Manos and Hernandez, that know that if a loss occurs, it could be, or it will be, their final collegiate game. Puts that extra fire into them, and it was the Red Hawks a season ago. Although they started in the winner's bracket, they won the regular season title. They won 3 straight elimination games to win their 4th straight MAC tournament. They're going to have to win 6 straight in order to do that again. Two balls, no strikes. In there, 2-1. It's going to be a matter of timing because Campo is going to blaze them in there. Campo has walked 41. Did pitch against Miami this year and actually had one of the best starts of her career. 3-1 walked her, so Hernandez aboard with a 2-out walk. So last year against Miami, she had a career-high 10 strikeouts. This year against Miami, struggled a lot more. Pitched a little over 5 innings. Gave up 11 hits in 4 2/3. But 6 innings, 10 strikeouts against a very powerful Miami lineup last year as a sophomore. And McKenna Campbell is up at the plate. She was not listed as the hitter. It was supposed to be Dudinay. And they're just allowed to make that switch. Now, Campbell batted cleanup the first game. Usually that results in an out. But Dudinay's just going to hit, and she slashes one deep to left field. It's got some carry. Kuzera back at the wall. Gone! Dudinay in the first pitch she sees, didn't even know she was supposed to be up, gives Miami a 2-0 lead. How about that? That is unbelievable. Not the fact that she hit a home run, but the fact that she wasn't even at the plate for the first pitch. A double down the right field line in the bottom of the 7th. And she gets Miami on the board just like that. Quite frankly, surprised. No pushback from Central, but Campbell is actually hitting 6 as Carter swings and misses. Just a very peculiar situation. Now, if Campbell had put the ball in play, then I believe she would have had to be out. But Miami caught it in time. Carter into center field, line shot, a base hit. So with 2 outs, all with 2 outs, a walk, a home run, and then a single. So things are starting to click here. Now McKenna Campbell, it's her turn. Took a strike for Dudinay. Takes outside, just misses 1-0. For Dudinay, it's her 7th home run of the season. The other thing I mentioned, talking about the Western Michigan game, I mentioned good defense, timely hitting. Pitchers hitting their spots. Well, 2-out rallies. You can get some 2-out hits, and that's what Miami has done. Here in this first inning, Campbell ahead here 2-1. On deck is Pinter. Fouls it back 2-2. Dudinay opened the scoring with a 2-run shot to left, hung up there for a while. Zara gave it a good effort, she just couldn't track it down. Campbell pops it up on the infield. Koenig comes in foul territory, makes the catch, and that'll end the frame. But Miami strikes first. Dudinay steps in on the first pitch she sees, sends it out to left. We head to the second, Miami 2, Central nothing on E+. Stone Stadium, Miami with the early lead. Dudinay with a 2-run blast out to left as Leah Chevrier threw 3 1/3 scoreless if you count her relief performance against Western Michigan in game number 2. She's going to face 4, 5, 6, Koenig, Williams, and then Lotus. Due up for the Chippewas. The explanation we got was that it was the first time through. Also, Campbell did not put the ball in play, so Dudonné was allowed to step in and capitalize right away. Also, that Miami fixed their own mistake. Central did not notice it. Canning with an RBI single in the third. Made it 3-0 Central Michigan at that point. Just a handful of big innings for Ohio. A 5-run frame and then a 4-run frame. Jordan Wycuff's grand slam out to left. Off speed for strike 2. Something about Chevrier where she likes pitching under the lights. She likes this moment. She's exceeded in it, or excelled in it, I should say, more than once. Multiple games last year where she was hitting her spots, getting hitters to do whatever she wants them to, and she does right there. Canning goes after a high fastball. A little bit of rise on that one away. 4 up, 4 down for Chevrier. Here's Williams. You know, when you struggle offensively, I guess you could apply it to both teams. Miami put up 4, but a little bit of some late inning magic. They couldn't materialize further as Williams takes below the zone, ball 1. Central ended up only with 3 runs. Sometimes mentally that can spiral. You see that in tournament settings. Still a lot of time to capitalize and get some runs on the board. Turn this thing around. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Williams was hitless in game number 1, but she did work a walk. Three up. Williams, green light on 3-0. That's an interesting one. Goes foul. Chevrier does have here and there some walk issues. 44 in the season compared to only 54 strikeouts. Walked 6 against Akron. Ended up in an 8-7 win for the Red Hawks. Walked 4 in her last regular season start against Bowling Green. Went the complete game in that one. But usually has a good amount of control. 3-1. Walks were there, though. So a 1-out walk. First base runner of game number 3 for Central Michigan.
Our next batter, number 11, the center fielder, Emma Lotus.
Emma Lotus steps in. Her most recent at-bat, she slapped one through the left side for a base hit, looking to pick up where she left off a few hours back. Chevrier has lost the zone a little bit here. .323 hitter. New Lenox, Illinois native. Swing and a miss. Ground ball towards second. Flip to second for 1, and they get the force. Estrella to Hernandez. Fielder's choice as Lotus will reach first.
Coming to the plate, the shortstop, number 22, Rachel Cairo.
Estrella had a lot of air under that ball. Looked like it was going to be a close play. It was a close play. As Williams retired, you do have the faster runner on base, though, as Cairo steps in. The movement on Chevrier's pitches, that had a lot of tail toward the outer half of the plate, even though it misses. It's that late movement. Looks like it's going to be in the strike zone, and you might make contact, but a lot of times it's soft contact. 2-0. One on first, 2 down. Central looking for their first runs of the game as Cairo cracks one foul. Cairo looking for her first hit of this MEC tournament. 2-1, 3-1, missed away. On deck is Laska. Misses outside, ball 4, second walk of the inning. And that's the danger with walks, is that all it can take is one swing now, and Central could take the lead. First and second, 2 down. Still no hits. Rather, 1 hit. So they take that back. Still no hits for Central. Scoreboard up here says 1. Fact checking my scorebook there as Laska steps in, the senior from the state of Michigan. Again, another one of those players, two-way player that has given a lot to the Chippewas. Trying to make sure her career stays alive and she can live to play another day. As Carter with a high five into Chevrier, and McKenna Campbell is going to talk this over. Control has started to become an issue here for the senior right-hander. Laska left 2 runners on base against Ohio earlier today. Has 2 on base here, and that's exactly what Chevrier needed. But a good hack 2-0. Chevrier has generated more swing and miss this season. 2-1 delivery, 3-1. She's having difficulty, at least in the second inning, locating that outside corner to left-handed hitters. It's ended up clearly away, almost in the right-handed batter's box. 3-1. Missed ball 4, third walk of the inning, and now the bases are loaded for Central Michigan. They don't even have a hit yet. 9-hole hitter Bila steps in. Bila hitting .293 in the year, just 1 extra base hit. 12 hits in the season. Ooh, just missed in the inner half, 1-0. Petrovic eagerly awaits on deck. There's a strike, top of the zone. Central fans don't like it. Eric Manley calls it a strike anyway. Ball to strike, bases loaded, 2 down. Ground ball right back to Chevrier. Flip to Carter at first in time, and Chevrier gets out of the second unscathed. So Central loads them up, they come up empty. We head to the bottom of the second. Red Hawks on top by 2 on A+. Brooklyn Campo back out there for her second inning of work. It'll be 7-8-9 due up for the Miami Redhawks. Erin Pinter, followed by Layla Mathis, and then Katie Olive. Pinter with a line drive single to left in her first game. Goes after the first pitch. Miami hitters have been awfully aggressive in the early going against Campo. Campo, a frequent user of that rosin bag in the circle. She's going to call time here. Something's up with her wristband, I believe. Count no balls and a strike to Pinter. 314, 3 homers, 28 ribbies. Inside corner, ooh, just a little bit up. Pinter was another one of those bottom of the order hitters season ago at third base. He's made a little bit of a jump offensively, which is what the Redhawks have needed her to do. Ahead of the count here, 2 balls and a strike. Out in front, if Campo is able to utilize her off speed and use it effectively, especially on that outer half of the plate, whether it's to righties or lefties. That's what Ava Geyer was able to do for Western Michigan, and Miami was unable to consistently get barrels. They got barrels, but not a ton. Looped out towards second base, making the running catches. Petrovic, one away.
The next batter, number 14, designated player, Layla Mathis.
Here's Layla Mathis. Her most recent at-bat was a loud one. Kept Miami alive in the bottom of the 7th. 2-run shot out to left. Swing and a miss. Layla Mathis takes upstairs. Freshman from Monroe, Georgia. Regional Player of the Year, hit 12 home runs, hitting .577 in her senior year in high school. Hot shot foul, right side. Mathis, not a huge home run threat, only has 3 on the year, but you kind of notice that sometimes with young players. They start to find a groove, they get comfortable. The swing starts to come around. The confidence builds. Behind 1 and 2 here. 1 out, nobody aboard. Fouls it away. There's been a few fans here in the stands at Firestone Stadium that have been eagerly awaiting a foul ball to come their way, and it just hasn't come their way yet. Jammed her. That'll stay in the park. Oh, little basket catch behind home plate. Nice play by Alexa Carter, 2 down.
Coming to the plate, number 2, the left fielder.
That's one way to protect it from hitting the ground. Used her body a little bit as here's Katie Olive. Was toward the middle of the lineup, but Katie Gardner-Colgate moves her down here. Swing and a miss, a little late on that. Olive did have an RBI, ended up with a sac fly in the first, but other than that was unable to muster up a hit. Miami had 8 of them. 4 of them came from their top 3 hitters, Manos, Estrella, and Hernandez. The other few, Carter, Pinter, Dudene, and Mathis each with 1. Campo trying to get through her first scoreless inning in her first 1-2-3 frame. Check swing foul, 2-2. Appreciate you joining us all day long here on ESPN Plus from Firestone Stadium. Day 1 of 4 here in this MAC Softball Championship from Akron, Ohio. We'll see 1 seed Akron and 2 seed Northern Illinois tomorrow for the first time. Full count. Akron, the 1 seed, will take on the 4 seed Ohio, and 2 seed NIU will take on 6 seed Western Michigan. Swing and a miss. Campo blew it right by her in a 1-2-3 bottom of the second. We head to the top of the third. Miami on top 2-0 here at Firestone on E+. Well, the third. Central Michigan still looking for their first hit. It'll start with the top of the order. Angela Petrovich, followed by Jenna Kuzera, then Alexa Carter. Chevrier deals low. Had her fair share of control issues in the second inning. Walked 3, but got Ashley Bila to ground right back to her on a short chopper. Chippewas left him loaded. Outside corner, there's a strike. That's the pitch that she was looking for in the second that she wasn't able to find. Does it early here against Petrovich. Grounded out to first when Carter stepped in the bag. Off speed, a little bit below the zone. 2-1. Central Michigan is trying to avoid, although their seed is different, having the same fate as they did last year. Few inches off the plate, 3-1. They got beat by 6 seed Northern Illinois and then went right to the elimination game and faced 5 seed Akron and lost their first 2 games. Inside corner, Petrovich wanted to toss the bat. She thought she was given a walk, count runs full. You feel like it would be a surprise to many if Miami were the first team eliminated. 3-2, fouled in front of the plate, hit the foot of Petrovich. Certainly be a surprise to those within the Red Hawks program. The expectations for them every year is championships, considering what they have done in the 2020s decade. Another 3-2. Staying alive. That one was a stinger. She's hit her front foot twice and some foul balls. 8th pitch. Ground ball right side, foul again. Carter was smothering that first base line. This is the type of at-bat, though, if Petrovich is able to win it, that could spark a little bit of a rally as you get to the heart of your order and get a runner with a lot of speed. 3-2. Ground ball to second. Estrella to her right makes the play, 1 away. That's harder than it looks.
Coming to the plate, the left fielder, number 17, Jenna Kuzera.
Here's Kuzera, grounded out to short. Back in the first. Still aiming for her first hit of this tournament. A lot of 3-ball counts. Now, it's interesting. Kuzera, a talented hitter, holds her hands on the bat a little bit farther apart from each other than most. There's a little bit of space there. Yep, you can see that. There's a strike. Whatever works, and it's worked a lot for her throughout her career. 3-1, caught on and missed. Chased a little bit, probably would have been a little on the outer half. Payoff pitch, ball 4. Much needed base runner for Central Michigan. They've had 4 of them. All of them have been via the walk. Chevrier had a game where she walked 7 earlier this year against Campbell. Had one against Akron last year in which she walked 6. Carter takes inside. If Central's able to get to her, you know Hosick will want the ball. One 0 to Carter. Lofted out, shallow center field coming in. Manos makes the catch. Hustling back to first is Kuzera. That got off the end of the bat. And Chevrier is able to locate on the corners. That's what I'm talking about. Soft contact off the end of the bat, or if it's on the inner half to a hitter, they'll get jammed. 2 away. As Grace Canning steps in. Two and 0. Central Michigan is a team 334 with runners in scoring position this year, but they just haven't had too many opportunities other than a couple hitters earlier, and it's 3-0. Walks are what is keeping this thing interesting right now. Still without a hit through 2 2/3. Oh, Canning, a 3-0 swing right to Carter, and it comes back to bite her. Interesting call there. Chevrier is through 3 scoreless. We head to the bottom half. Miami 2, Central nothing on E+. Bottom of the third, top of the order for Miami. 2-0 Red Hawks. It'll be Manos, Estrella, and then Hernandez. Brooklyn Campo out there after a 1-2-3 second. Struck out Katie Allen to end things, has retired 4 straight. Manos, a weird-looking swing. Struck out her first time up. Second time through for this Red Hawks order. Let's see if they can capitalize and extend this lead for Chevrier as Manos takes low. When I asked Mandy Gardner-Colgate, all right, if you could pick one hitter up with runners in scoring position, one hitter to have that clutch hit for you guys, who would you pick? And she immediately said Manos. Now, it's an easy answer considering she's hitting over 430 on the year, MAC Player of the Year, of course. But it's also an interesting development with, the dawn of the transfer portal within the last 5 or so years. That one will flare foul left side. Is that Manos is a transfer, Hosick a transfer, right? And it draws really good players to the program when you have that type of success in mid-major softball, whether it's other good mid-major players or players from the power conference level going down a little bit. That misses away. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Looking to get the leadoff woman on here in the third. 2-2 to Manos. Lofted out to left field. It'll stay in the park. Kuzera makes the easy catch, one away.
Our next batter, number 12, the second baseman, Mia Estrella.
Here's Estrella. Flew out to right her first time around. It's quite the 1-2 punch. Miami had a handful of veterans a year ago, but you have to give credit to their coaching staff, and that if you look at the top of it, I mentioned Manos came from Purdue Fort Wayne, but Estrella's a freshman. Hernandez was the 9-hitter last year. She blossomed into one of the better middle-of-the-order hitters in the league. Foul, right side. Dudene, who's hitting cleanup, was moved up in the order as a freshman. So your top 4 hitters, 3 of them weren't on the team last year. One of them was your 9-hole hitter. Shot out left center field. It's going to dunk in for a base hit. Tough break for Campo, who jammed her out of the reach of the shortstop Rachel Cairo. And Estrella was aboard with a 1-out single.
Shortstop number 88, Denisa Hernandez.
A lot of these we've seen usually the shortstop catching. That first break for Cairo was in. I'm not sure if she would have got there if her first step was back, but certainly would have made it a closer play. A lot of times if you're an infielder, you see that jam shot, you're usually, the ball's going to end up a little bit in from where you're standing, especially from where Cairo is on the edge of the outfield turf. Hernandez walked her first time. Foul ball. Oh, 1. Little late on it. We really haven't seen, especially with a rise ball, fastball, no one be able to time up Campo on that pitch. It was a breaking ball to Dudene that she launched out to left for a home run. 0-2. Outside. We do have some action beyond the right field wall. Central Michigan does have someone warming. No action for Miami. Hernandez, third time this at bat to the right side, foul. Upstairs. Tough hitter to put away. She has just 16 strikeouts this year after game 1 hitting .409. Was a second-team All-American at the junior college level. And the Phoenix Bears. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Campo, 2 away.
Next to the plate, number 11, Stevie Dudonay.
Other than that one pitch to Dudonay, who, speaking of wet, steps into the batter's box right here. Campo has been pretty efficient. She's been sharp. Had a little bit more control than Chevrier has as well. But with the power of Miami's lineup, we talked about this with Ohio, a lot of times one swing can be the difference, as that's upstairs. Ohio first in the conference coming into the tournament with 76 home runs, but Miami not far behind them with 72. The next closest was Akron with 56, so a big gap from 2 to 3 there compared to 1 to 2. 1-0. Fouled straight back. But then if you take a look at the other teams, Western Michigan fourth with 53, then there's a massive gap. Goes to Central Michigan at 35. The team with the least amount of homers in the tournament is NIU with 30. 1-1. Jammed her, shallow left center field. Coming in, Kuzera makes the catch. And another clean inning for Brooklyn Campo. We head to the top of the fourth. Miami on top of Central Michigan, 2-0 here from Firestone on E+.
1 runner left on base. We play 3.
Top of the fourth for Central Michigan, still searching for that first hit against Leah Chevrier. It'll be 5-6-7. London Williams, Emma Lotus, followed by the shortstop Rachel Cairo. Williams was the first base runner of the game in her first plate appearance in this contest for Central Michigan. Was issued a walk. Down low for a ball. I talked about when Chevrier entered against Western Michigan in relief that she threw 5 innings, as that's inside 2-0, of no-hit softball. Ball State ended up falling to Miami 8-0. So a 5-inning no-hitter, so to say, and Chevrier is behind 3-0 here. She only had 2 walks in that game and only threw 60 pitches, believe it or not. Threw 100 the next day against Ohio. 7 innings, 5 hits. Behind 3-0 here. Outside corner for a strike. What was perplexing to me is that she walked Kuzera. The last inning did Chevrier. The control wasn't exactly great, as there's another walk to Williams, as that Koenig swung 3-0.
Our next batter, number 11, the center fielder.
Looked like it was going to be a pitch in the zone, but Chevrier has been somewhat you would call effectively wild almost. Thrown a lot more balls than strikes. She's up to 64 pitches as Central has the leadoff woman aboard. Here's Lotus. Ground ball through into right center field, a base hit. First hit of the game for Central Michigan. Williams will stop right at second. A much-needed swing for CMU. Second hit of this tournament for Lotus, and now it's first and second, nobody out for the Chippewas. First pitch swing, they were aggressive. You know, Chevrier wanted to throw strikes. And now down 2-0. It's an interesting spot for Rachel Cairo. What could be a sacrifice situation. She does try and lay it down. That ball is foul. Late call by Eric Manley behind home plate. Would have gotten the out at first, but it would have been close. Central is one of 4 teams that has sacrificed over 30 times. Western Michigan first coming into the tournament with 41. Central fourth with 31. Miami is dead last. They've only had 10 sacrifices. They like to swing away. The 0-1 shows bunt again, gets this one down to third. Pinter to first, they get the play. Covering first is Estrella. Successful sacrifice. Williams to third, Lotus to second, 1 away. Score that 5-4 at home. Now a big spot for Sierra Alaska. Walked her first time up. Base hit could tie it here, especially with the speed of Lotus if it gets through. Alaska takes outside. On deck is Bila. Carter is in at first. Pinter a few steps in at third. Middle infield is back. Line drive, right center field. On the run, it's going to drop for a big base hit. 2 runs will score. Going for 3. It is going to be an out. A tie game as Bila are rocking out to right field out of Dudonay's reach, and this game's tied at 2. A huge hit for Alaska. Barreled it up. Lotus had to read it at first, but because of her speed was able to score. Then a big out by Miami on the relay as Bila right back to Chevrier. She'll throw to first in time, and that'll do it. So a 2-run double by Alaska ties the score. We head to the bottom of the 4th. I'll leave it at 2 here at Firestone on ESPN+. Bottom of the 4th, and things got a whole lot more interesting in the top half. Sierra Alaska, 2-run double to right to score London Williams and Emma Lotus to tie this game at 2. Ella Carter leads it off, takes an off-speed pitch for a strike from Campo. Now all of a sudden the pressure kind of mounts back on Miami, right? Central hadn't had a hit through the first 3 frames, and then they get a few big hits, line drives. As Carter, jam shot, second base, sliding and making the catches. Petrovic one down.
Next up for Miami, number 00, the catcher, McKenna Campbell.
The reason why I say that is because at the end of the day, Miami has players that have won a MAC championship here. Central is the 5 seed, Miami the 3. Was the 3 seed Central Michigan that bowed out first last tournament. Campbell goes after the first pitch, foul territory. Koenig has room, makes the catch right in front of the Miami dugout. And 2 quick outs for Campo here in the 4th.
Coming to the plate, the third baseman, number 9, Aaron Pinter.
Here's Aaron Pinter, 0 for 1. Flew out to second her first time up. Campo starting to cruise here. Just misses below the zone. Hit sharply right side, that'll sneak through for a base hit. So a 2-out single for Pinter, her first hit of this game, second hit of the tournament. It's Miami who got their home run with 2 outs from 2 today. Keeps the inning alive. Here's Mathis, who hit a home run in the first game. Popped out to the catcher. The second pitch of the AB back in the second. Outside corner for a strike. That's where you want it if you're Campo. Pitch count at 64. 3 strikeouts. Earn that rosin bag. And Quick Friends is another swing and a miss. A lot of late swings from the Red Hawks in this game. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Campo trying to throw up a 0 and win this inning for the Chippewas. Just missed at the top of the zone, awfully close. It's a pitch that the Chippewas wanted. Ball and 2 strikes, 2 down. Campo winds and deals. Not even close. 2-2. 2 up for Central Michigan in the top of the 5th. Will be the top of the order, starting with Petrovic, Kuzera, and then Carter. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Popped her up on the infield. Coming in is Cairo. Makes the easy grab, and that'll do it. So another 0 thrown up. 3rd straight for Brooklyn Campo. We head to the 5th. Miami 2, Central 2 on E+.
1 runner left on base. After 4 innings, here at Firestone.
Top 5, 2-2 here in this elimination game from Firestone Stadium. Dane Richardson rocking with you. Top of the order, 3rd time through for Central Michigan against the Miami right-hander Leah Chevrier. Pitch count at 70 through 4. Petrovic 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts to the right side. Trying to set the table with some speed. Down and in. 5 walks for Chevrier. That's been her weakness, but Central finally came around with the bats. Here, Alaska, a huge 2-run double to score 2, was thrown out stretching for 3. Well inside, 2 balls, no strikes. The winner of this game will play in the 3rd game tomorrow. 3-0 to Petrovic. Who they will play is obviously to be determined. A lot of different scenarios. Petrovic shows bunt, 4-pitch walk, 6th walk of the game for Chevrier. We do have action over the left field wall warming up for Miami. Remember, Chevrier's career high in walks is 7. She's just short of that. Here's Kuzera, walked her last time up. Goes after it, line drive up the middle, caught by Hernandez. It's a double play. Petrovic, a base running gaff. Thought that ball was going to drop, and a massive 2 outs for Chevrier here in the 5th. This one just hung up forever. Hernandez, great quickness to get to it, and then a laser to first. Just like that, there's 2 down. Here's Carter, takes low. Only once have the Chippewas gotten that timely hit. When it's come down to it, Chevrier has kind of tiptoed around a lot of those walks. Carter on the ground is short. Backhand Hernandez. Throw to first. High throw. Carter gets her foot to the bag in time, and that'll end the frame. So Chevrier gets through unharmed in the top of the 5th. We head to the bottom half, tied at 2 on ESPN+. Bottom 5, it's starting to get into clutch time, folks. Tied at 2, it's 9-1-2. Olive, Manos, and then Estrella. Olive had struggled so far in this tournament, struck out swinging. Campo got a 3-2 fastball by her. 68 pitches through 4. Out there for her 5th inning of work. First pitch, fastball inside, corner called a strike. For Central, they have a motto, and they wear shirts before the game that says, "Every run earned." There's a meaning behind that as Olive pops it up, foul. Nice play by Alexa Carter behind home plate. Threw off the mask rather quickly, one away just like that. And it has shown up on the field as well. Central Michigan has the highest fielding percentage coming into this tournament in the Mid-American Conference at 97.4%. You don't want to give you free runs. There's a ground ball to second. Making the play is Petrovic. Just like that, 2 down for Campo here in the 5th.
Our next batter, second baseman Mia Estrella.
This game really starting to pick up the pace. Hitters trying to attack early and count, specifically Miami, but Campo the entire game has kept them off balance. This has been one of her better pitching performances this year. Here's Estrella. Looped one out toward left center field, just out of the reach of Rachel Cairo, her last time to the plate. 1-0. 2-0. Campo trying to get through 5. The last time she went at least 5 innings, you have to go all the way back to April 11th against UMass, where she threw 5 2/3. It's Estrella out to center field. Making the catch is Lotus, and a 1-2-3, bottom of the 5th for Brooklyn Campo. We head to the 6th, still even at 2, Miami and Central Michigan from Firestone Stadium. Top of the 6th, still tied at 2, 4-5, 6-2 up in the Central Michigan order. Chevrier is still getting the call here. Koenig, Williams, and then Lotus. Williams and Lotus have provided the 2 runs for Central Michigan. That was back in the 4th. Chevrier winds and deals up and away. Senior Paige Saylor during that break near the dugout, the senior from Dexter, Michigan, trying to get the Central Michigan fans fired up, hoping that they get another shot at it tomorrow. So that one narrowly misses. 2-0. Miami still has action just beyond the left field wall. If they need to pull the trigger and call on a reliever, in this case all of them are starters. 3-0, Chevrier a ball away from tying her career high in walks. Just hasn't had the control she would have liked today. Shows bunt, inside corner, 3-1. Koenig was ahead 3-0 last time. 0 for 2, grounded out to first in that last AB, then struck out her first time. She is Chevrier's lone strikeout victim. 3-1. Hit down the right field line, Dudonay on the run, just on the line. She makes the catch for a big first down. Great hustle, she got a good jump. And Koenig ahead 3-0 is retired, 1 away. Here's London Williams. Williams has been aboard both times via the walk. In fact, walked one other time in the matchup against Ohio. Goes after the first pitch aggressively, but late on it foul. In fact, dating back to the game against the Bobcats, her last 3 plate appearances, it's been 3 walks for London Williams. That misses the outer half, 1-1. Strike zone has been relatively tight in this game, according to Eric Manley, our home plate umpire. Ball to strike. Down low, 2-1. Manos playing around that Firestone logo. Williams has some pop, but she's relatively in. Inside, low, 3-1. Not getting many pitches to hit, but you credit the discipline of London Williams. 3-1. Goes after it. Left center field. Manos back. Looking up at the wall. Goodbye! London Williams with a solo go-ahead home run in the top of the 6th. And the Chippewas have their first lead. It's 3-2. London Williams, her 8th homer of the year, and down 2-0 early. The Chippewas, just their 3rd hit of the game. Williams 3-1, sitting dead red, and she got it. Gone. Good effort from Manos, but now the Chippewas are 6 outs away from playing Game 6 of the tournament, 3rd game of tomorrow's action. And the pressure even more mounts on Miami, as here's Lotus, who had a single and a run scored on Laska's 2-run double. 1-0. Lotus chips it foul. Both these teams are extremely talented. It's just who can have the wherewithal and be calm in the big moments to come through. Behind 1 and 2 is Lotus. One-two pitch. Flared left side on top of the Miami dugout foul. Miami will have 3-4-5. Hernandez, Dudonay, and Carter due up. But you know, Campo will probably give her some juice to go out there and dial it up a little bit more, knowing you're only 6 outs away. Lotus with a drive out to right field, but it sits right into the glove of Dudonay. 2 down. Got a little off the end of the bat there.
Coming to the plate, number 22 to shortstop, Rachel Cairo.
In a game where the hits have come at a premium more than any of the 3 that we've seen today, just 7 combined. You wonder if that Williams swing could be the difference for Central Michigan to stay alive and to end what has been quite the run for the Miami Redhawks in the MAC softball tournament. Late on it is Cairo, 0-1. Ball on a strike on the Central shortstop. Little upstairs. Give credit to Chevrier. She's limited the damage, but 2 of the 3 hits for Central have been extra bases. Both extra base hits have accounted for all 3 RBIs. Cairo to the left side, but it's caught by Pinter, and that'll do it. But Central takes the lead. London Williams, a solo shot to center. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Chippewas on top by 1. Bottom of the 6th, Brooklyn Campo has thrown a gem. 4 straight zeros. Out there for the 6 against 3, 4, 5 of the Red Hawks order. Hernandez, Dudinay, and Carter. London Williams in the top of the 6th taking the lead with her 8th homer of the year. As Campo with some heat on the outside corner for strike 1. Defensive switch, Tori Briggs in for Ashley Bila out and right. Is some action beyond the right field wall in the central bullpen. Hernandez, one of those seniors, trying to make sure that she gets an extra opportunity tomorrow. It's the tough thing about mid-major softball is that a lot of times it's only one team getting to play in regionals. For those seniors extending their career. Campo has 3 strikeouts. Hernandez was one of them her last time up. Two and 2. Miami has had a lot of difficulty, just 4 hits, some barreling some of those high velocity Campo pitches up in the zone. The breaking ball has been good enough, especially in the outer half. Hernandez staves it off. Upstairs, full count. Big pitch coming. Through the first 5 innings against Campo, Miami has not had a leadoff runner reach. Payoff from Campo. Grounded left side foul. Hernandez continuing to battle. When in doubt, does Campo just try and blow it by her? Ground ball through into right center field. It's a base hit. That's going to split the outfielders and go all the way to the wall. Hernandez at second, and the tying run in scoring position for the Red Hawks.
Coming to the plate, the right fielder number 11, Edie Dudinay.
This one was smoked. A lot of spin on that ball. Lotus unable to cut it off. And with Dudinay, you can think it could be a sacrifice situation, but I said earlier, Miami least in the MAC. They only have 10 all year, and Dudinay has hit a homer. Does not show. Down the right field line, it's foul. First time a leadoff hitter has reached for the Miami offense here in this game against Central. The freshman from Pearland, Texas, a chance to tie this one up. The 0-1 upstairs. Didn't have a ton of at-bats early in the year, but emerged as a starter through the late February as takes a strike in the inside corner, 1 and 2. On deck is Ella Carter. Campo looking for her 4th strikeout. The 1-2. Fouled off to the right side. Coming from Glenda Dawson High School. She's had the swing that has resulted for both of Miami's runs. 2 extra base hits in 2 games today. Another 1-2 delivery. Ground ball back up the middle. Cairo Fields going to be a close play at first. The stretch by London Williams, and they get the out. Advancing to third, heads up base running is Hernandez. So a woman on third with 1 out. Tying run 60 feet away. So now here's Ella Carter. Singled right back up the middle and lined out to second last time up. Just misses. Campo dialed it up a little bit there. You just think You can't strike out if you're Miami, and you got to limit a pop-up. Hernandez with speed, likely to go on anything put in play on the ground. The 1-0. Carter, right center field. That ball is going to be caught. A diving grab by Briggs. Tagging is Hernandez. She'll score, and this game is tied. What a play by Tori Briggs. I think Central's going to appeal. They say Hernandez did not leave early. That's great base running, not to just take off. And now they're going to talk about this. I think Central might want to challenge this. A defensive replacement. You want to talk about pressing the right button. Tori Briggs, a Superman catch. So we're going to review this to see if Hernandez left early. And if she did, it'll end the frame and be the highlight double play likely of this tournament.
Is under video review.
The call on the field is that she did not leave early. So that would tie the score at 3, and Miami did just enough to manufacture a run. Would be 2 outs with the bases empty. You think, how big was that Hernandez, making sure she took off and got to third? And credit to Carter, put the ball in play, but Tori Briggs with the play that could arguably save the Chippewas season. That ball gets down and she misses it, she dives. You're thinking 3 bases potentially for Carter because it didn't look like Lotus was going to get there behind her that quickly. Would have tied the game, then you would have had the go-ahead run at third with less than 2 outs. And Briggs was just put in this inning. Did not look like she was going to get there. But indeed she did. We'll see if the call stands or not. Call is confirmed. Hernandez did not leave early. And now the score is tied at 3. So Miami has answered the London Williams home run. 2 outs, nobody on for McKenna Campbell. The double by Hernandez proves to be enough to come around to score. One swing of the bat could move Miami 3 outs away from moving on to tomorrow. Campbell in the air, shallow center field. Lotus comes in, makes the running catch, and that'll end the 6th. But Miami scores 1 to tie the game. We're even at 3 heading into the 7th. Drama here from Firestone. Stay right here on E+. Welcome back, top of the 7th. Both fan bases on pins and needles here, knowing that their season is on the line. Gary Krieger takes over in left field for Olive. First pitch to Laska, who had a 2-run double last time up is low. Chipped in front of the plate, foul. You're at the point in the game where one swing, and you felt the same with Williams, could be your season. Central trying to make sure they capitalize so the pressure doesn't go on them to throw up a 0 and push this thing to extras. Laska just 1 home run of the year, takes low, 2-1. Chevrier has battled. It has not been pretty, 6 walks. Central would certainly take another one of those. Laska could be a threat to go 6 for 8, but Campbell with a strong arm. 2-1. Inside, 3-1. Miami seems like they have had someone ready beyond the left field wall for the last few innings, but have yet to go that direction. Just past 100 pitches for Chevrier, and she walked her. Sierra Laska on for the 2nd consecutive time with a leadoff walk. Chevrier has now tied her career high in walks with 7.
Number 7, Toby Briggs.
It's the 10th base runner of the game for Central, just 3 hits, and now Tori Briggs, who made one of the highlight catches of this tournament as a defensive replacement for Ashley Bila, gets her first at-bat. Hit .261 this season. Shows bunt and pops it foul. Didn't seem like she got the bat that far over the plate. Sophomore from Fowlerville, Michigan, 2 homers, 12 ribbies. Trying to show there, has 1 sacrifice on the year. Let's see if she does it again. Does not, toward the right side. That's gonna sneak through for a base hit. Laska stops at 2nd. Briggs' first at-bat of the MAC tournament is a big-time single, and it's 1st and 2nd, nobody out for the Chippewas. Off the end of the bat, you talk about finding an empty spot in the infield. Back to the top of the order with Petrovic, and you can almost be sure this could be a sacrifice situation, especially with her speed and her being a lefty. Shows. Push through the bunt, it's a strike, 0-1. Petrovic walked her last time up. It was doubled off first. As we're going to get time called. Call Salman calling her team some type of base running tips or little play they want to put on. Just also could be a vote of confidence in this situation, knowing that the first 2 hitters that have come to the plate have performed. Would be massive if Petrovic can lay one down and get Laska to 3rd and Briggs to 2nd. 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Chevrier still inside the circle. It'll be pitch number 105, 0-1. Did she go around? Nope, she pulled back, 1-1. Leading hitter in terms of batting average for Central Michigan all year long, 407. She gets this one down to 3rd. Pinter will go to 1st, nearly wide. A great play by Estrella to keep that from going down the right field line. And there's 1 away, a successful sacrifice for Petrovic. And I think Central might want to look at this at first. And no, they're not going to look at it. They're just going to get a pinch runner from Briggs. And it's going to be Bila. So Bila comes right back in. 4.
Now running at second base.
1 down, third and second. Kuzera. What a time would it be for her first hit of the tournament. Takes low, great block by Campbell. Krieger, defensive replacement out and left. Manos in center. Dudonay in right. All of them relatively shallow, wanting to throw out. Laska on a sack flies. That's popped left side. It's going to get out of play. On top of the Miami dugout, 1-1. Laska led off the inning with a walk. Briggs had a single and the successful sacrifice bunt by Petrovic to advance the runners. Bila now is a pinch runner in at second. Ball to strike. Kuzera shows bunt, gets it down. They'll go to first. A run scores and the ball is dropped and everyone's safe. It'll go as an E4. The successful squeeze gives the Chippewas a 4-3 lead. It's a safety squeeze, certainly not a suicide squeeze. They go to first and that's just dropped. And now things could become a lot worse here for the Red Hawks. Already surrendering the lead.
Our next batter,
Chevrier, smart move. She did not have a play at home. And now here comes Carter. Runners in the corners. Still 1 out. Carter shows bunt. Runner will go down to second. Oh, and they have Kuzera in a rundown. Now the runner thinking about coming home. The throw home, and it gets away! Bila scores to second Kuzera, and a disastrous defensive inning for the Red Hawks. 5-3 Central Michigan. Cat and mouse with Bila down the third base line, and it looks like the throw was there. Let's take another look. They get it to Hernandez, makes the smart play, throws it to Campbell, and just couldn't apply the tag. There's a flare down the right field line, a base hit. Rounding third, Kuzera. She will score. Carter with an RBI single. Chippewas by 3. Oh boy, if things turned on their head here in the 7th. Chippewas with a huge 3 spot, as that's just a flare off the end of the bat by Carter. And a couple of big errors in this inning for Miami that have clearly come back to cost them. You feel like this inning should be over if you're a Red Hawks fan, or let alone the team, as Koenig steps in with a chance to do even more damage. Woman on first, nobody out. Koenig lays it down. Going to be a close play at first. The throw, not in time. Koenig beats it out, and small ball has opened up this top of the 7th. First and second still with 1 out. They'll rule that ahead. As now London Williams, who had the big swing, back in the 6th with a solo blast to make it 3-2. That seemed like ages ago. Andy Gardner-Colgate out there chatting with a right-hander. Everything has turned Central Michigan's way. When in doubt, they put the ball in play, and they force Miami to defend efficiently. And Central has created havoc, and now will be 3 outs away heading into the bottom of the 7th with a chance to eliminate the 4-time reigning champions. London Williams a chance to do even more damage. It is first and second with 1 out. Home runner last time up. Outside corner for a strike from Chevrier. If you're wondering who's due up for Miami in the bottom of the 7th, it'll be 7, 8, 9. Pitcher Mathis, likely Krieger. Unless Olive pinch hits. 0-1. Off speed, pretty pitch from Chevrier, nothing in 2. Looking for a nice double play ball. The 0-2. Tipped foul. .115 pitches. Chevrier really hasn't given up a lot of hard contact in this inning. Probably why they're keeping her in there. 1-2 outside. It all started with a leadoff walk to Laska. Briggs with a seeing eye single. Petrovic the bunt, and then Kuzera reaching on the fielder's choice safety squeeze. What's amazing is that 3 of the top 4 hitters for Central Michigan, supposed to be the heart and power of your order, laid down bunts in the 7th inning. 2-2 pitch to Williams. Full count. Works it from 0-2 to 3-2. On deck is Lotus. Certainly don't want to load him up. Three balls, 2 strikes. 2 women on. 1 down. Back up the middle and through for a base hit. Around third comes the runner home and is not in time. Scoring is the pinch runner Lugie, and it's 7-3. Central just keeps tagging on. That's why you pitch run. 3 straight singles for Central Michigan. It's now 8-3 with Koenig and Williams aboard. 8th hitter to come to the plate is Lotus. Big swing and a miss. Biggest inning of the tournament for Central Michigan, without a doubt. Lotus foul, 0-2. Followed by Campbell, 1-2. You're likely going to get 9 hitters to come to the plate in this inning, barring a double play. Cairo will be the last of the Central Michigan lineup that has yet to have an opportunity. 1-2, out to center field, tailing to the right of Manos, makes the catch. Line out to center, 2 away. The Chippewas have batted around. Here's Rachel Cairo with a chance to really break this thing open. 7-3 Chippewas lead. First and second, 2 down. Cairo up the middle. That's through for a base hit. Koenig around third. The throw to the plate is in time. What a strike from Manos to cut down another run, and that'll end the inning. But not before the Chippewas with a massive 4 spot in the top of the 7th. Miami, one last hope to keep their season alive. Stay with us from Firestone Stadium on ESPN+. outs to go for Central Michigan to move on to tomorrow and stave off elimination against the 3-seed Miami Redhawks, who have won 4 straight MAC tournament titles. It'll be Pinter Mathis and then Oliver Krieger. 7-8-9. Campo trying to complete this finish in what would be a fantastic performance through 7 as that clips the bottom of the zone for a strike. Pinter did single her last time to the plate. Right field foul. A run of dominance that is unrivaled. 5 straight NCAA regional trips on the verge of ending in moments. And for Central Michigan, it would be avoiding elimination, being the first team eliminated for the 2nd consecutive year and a chance to play tomorrow, knowing you've already staved off elimination once. Pinter stays alive. But what we do know about Miami is that they have one of, if not arguably, the most powerful offense in the MAC all year long, and that a 4 spot would be nothing new to them. Another 1-2, line drive, right field. Back goes Bila. She makes the running catch, one away. So both right fielders in this game, Briggs and Bila, flashing some leather out there. Chippewas 2 outs away. Here's Leela Mathis. Base is empty, 1 down. This is the outer half. Open to talk with Central Michigan head coach McCall Solomon after the game. If Central's able to hold on. We saw Miami has scored both of their runs with 2 outs. (2-0). Inside corner, 2-1. Campo only has 2 complete games this year against Northern Illinois and Western Michigan, has 9 in her career. Rather 3 complete games this year. She's behind though 3-1 here to Mathis. Ground ball to second. Petrovic has it. 1 out away. We get a conversation. The Redhawks pausing and likely stalling. It's the junior from Jerseyville, Illinois. Carrie Krieger steps in.
Number 6, Carrie Krieger.
Not a qualified hitter, but has hit .329 this year. 5 homers. Down low for a ball. Outfield left to right. Kuzera, Lotus, and Bila plays her straight up. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes away. A 1-1. Strike 2. Central would play in the 3rd game tomorrow. Ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases empty. A strike away of the Chippewas. Central Michigan has ended the Redhawks' reign. The Chippewas stave off elimination and live to see another day. 7-3 your final. And we'll see them tomorrow afternoon. We'll be right back. Central Michigan winners. Welcome back from Firestone Stadium. Central Michigan winners in this elimination game over Miami by a final score of 7-3. We will see Central Michigan tomorrow. 3 more games tomorrow. We'll see the Akron Zips and also the Northern Illinois Huskies, the 1 and 2 seeds, in day 2 of the MAC softball tournament from Firestone Stadium. Saying so long from Akron, Ohio, I'm Dane Richardson. All games on the ESPN app are archived. This has been a presentation of ESPN.